And we're now live.
Good morning. I will take this opportunity to call the meeting of Wednesday, March 1st to order at 9 a.m. I will now ask for a roll call.
Mayor LaValle,
Here,
Councillor Collins, Councillor Florent,
Here.
Councillor Kuyak,
Here.
Councillor Pigeon,
Here.
Councillor Rodnick,
Here.
Councillor Sidoc.
Here.
thank you. I will now read the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are gathered on the unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people, especially the Madawaskarini people, which are the people of the Madawaska River. We further acknowledge that the Algonquin people have been stewards of this land since time immemorial, and we strive to treat the land, along with the flora and fauna it supports, the people, their customs, traditions, with honor and respect. Today, this area is home to people of all walks of life, and we acknowledge the shared opportunities and responsibilities to live, work, and survive within this beautiful territory. Shimmiigwich, all my relations. I'll open the floor to any additions or amendments to the agenda. At this point, I would ask that council consider tabling the CEO report, as the report has some issues of a confidential nature in them. Is there any opposition to that?
The housing report.
Yeah, specifically the housing report. And I will see if any council members have any additions or amendments to the agenda. With that, I'll have Carla. I'll have a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the agenda.
I'll make the motion.
The move by Councillor Florent, second by Councillor Rodnick. Carla,
Moved by Councillor Florent, seconded by Councillor Rodnick, that council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin adopts the agenda as circulated for the circulated and amended for the regular council meeting of March 1st, 2023.
okay. Do you have to do a call?
No, you can all say all in favor.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest for this meeting?
I have one, it's item number 16, motions of council, specifically the motion regarding the operating grant for the Flying Feathers Archery Club. And I filed the appropriate paperwork.
Okay. Council Florent has declared a pecuniary interest in the one, the Flying Feathers, I think it's called. Okay, thank you, Councilor Florent. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none. We don't have any petitions, delegations, or presentations today. With that, I will move, I'll ask for a mover to adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of February 1st. I have a mover and a seconder.
I can move.
Moved by Councillor Sidoc, seconded by Councillor. Oh my God, lost my Kuyak. Lost my train of thought here. Thank you. Sorry.
Moved by Councillor Sidoc, seconded by Councillor Kuyak, that council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin adopts the minutes of the regular council meeting of February 1st, 2023 as circulated.
All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Item number 9 is the meeting of the zoning bylaw amendment. ZBA 2023-1, Bolt 145 and 161 Algonquin Street. I'll turn this over to Tracy Cannon to lead us through this discussion.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So with us today for the application is Denise Beanish and Andrew Bolt. They're the applicants of the application. We recommend that the council approve zoning bylaw amendment application ZBA 2023-01 to rezone the properties to a settlement area residential with an exception. So in previously, the previous committee of adjustment approved a consent application SEV-2021-04 to divide these existing lands, 141 and 145 and 161 Algonquin Street, as they were previously merged together. So currently, with them being zoned an R1 settlement area, they require one minimum lot area of 1 hectare and a lot frontage of 60 meters. And either one of those lands have that. 145 Algonquin Street has 0.23 hectares, and it has a lot frontage of 56 meters. So provisions will have to be, or exceptions will have to be made for that within the zoning bylaw. And so 161 Algonquin Street has 0.15 hectares and 52 meters of lot frontage. And again, that'll have to be rezoned for an exception. So public notice was provided as prescribed by the Planning Act, and the comments were received from MTO. They're basic comments. They have no issue with the application. However, both the subroute and the retained lands are within their permitted area. So any future developments would have to go through them for permission. I don't think any is proposed at this time, but future applications would need to go through there. And they've also expressed that no new access would be granted for either properties off of Highway 60, but both properties have access off of Algonquin Street. So I don't see an issue with that either. So I turn it over. I don't know if any council has any questions in regards to this application. I know most of you are new with this, and it's pretty standard.
Councilor Florent.
I just want to point out that these property, we're not creating any new lots or anything. These have existed for years and years and years. The only thing that didn't happen is they didn't change on title. And that's basically what we're doing now. It's just cleaning it up.
We're cleaning up. Exactly.
Okay, any other comments or questions? I think it's pretty straightforward, a lot of work and blood, sweat and tears have gone into this. So I don't have any problems with it at all either. So do we need a bylaw? Or?
The bylaw is in the bylaw portion of the package.
Okay.
So
Do you have any comments from?
just want to get it done.
Okay, no comments. Yeah. No comments.
It's concluded that the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to the township official plan. And it is appropriate for the subject lands, and that it represents good land use and planning. And it, like Councilor Florent said, it's cleaning up something that existed for many years, and we can move forward then after this.
Yeah, I think it's good to get this moving forward. So basically what happens now is we will do a bylaw today. Where we've got the bylaw that we're going to read it under the motions of council.
Under the bylaw.
Yeah.
So and then after it's approved, then there's a 20-day appeal period, and then after that is finalized.
Okay. So you're welcome to stay. It'll be item number 16 on our agenda, which is the motions of council, where then we'll bring the bylaw. It'll be read 3 times, first, second, third time. So you're welcome to stay, but it's all we have to do is kind of the formal process of this. Okay. Thanks, Tracy. Moving on to committee, staff and council reports. Who wants to go first today? Want to do the committee reports are in the agenda?
I can do the work department report.
Please come ahead. Thanks, Brian.
So an interesting month has passed in the works department, which is commonplace. So I'll touch on several things in my report. First of all, I'll deal with spring approaching and our annual load restrictions. And you can follow on the screen there through my report. So under bylaw 15-481, we can post load restrictions and enforce them on certain roadways after March 1st, on or after March 1st. at the direction of the work superintendent or designate. So it's necessary to put the load restrictions on to prevent damage to our highways during the spring and thaw. And with a lot of heavy loads on our roads, we usually work with the local industry and we monitor the weather. So the date can fluctuate somewhat when the load restrictions do go on. Right now, I've been in contact with a gentleman by the name of Connor Stinson at the AFA. In last week's phone call, they had 140 loaded logs roughly to come out Major Lake Road as of last week. They do about 25 loads per day. So they're working diligently to get their forest products out of the bush. And we're remaining in contact with each other. And right now, the cold nights and the winter weather is holding. So there are no load restrictions on at this time. But again, we'll monitor conditions moving forward. And as in past years, we do work with the AFA and other stakeholders, and we try and get as much of their products out of the bush to protect the local economy as we can without damaging our roads. So it's day by day. We'll keep an eye on it, but no load restrictions as of this moment. I also received a call mid-month from Leonie Coleman, who is the Assistant Interior Parks Group Leader at the East Gate of the MECP, regarding the replacement of the vault and privy at the Gallery Lake Boat Launch. Now, previously, it was my understanding the municipality had agreed to contribute to the project by supplying staff and equipment, and we were to dig basically the hole for the vault, and we would allow for the old privy to be removed to the landfill site and disposed of as our contribution. And then all other work, it was my understanding that the privy and the construction and all that would be the responsibility of the MECP. So Ms. Coleman has provided a diagram of the vault. It's a 5,000 liter tank. And I sent a copy of the email and the diagram of the vaults to CAO Martin and to Mike Anderson, our chief building official. So they both have copies of that. No start date for the project, but the MECP would like to continue to work on this collaboratively, so there's further coordination required on that. And it's been an interesting winter for our outdoor rinks and our rink attendants, given the weather. We've had to make some staffing reassignments this week. The Whitney rink attendant has requested time off on short notice for personal reasons, and he was asked to be replaced on a temporary basis. So that person is missing in action for an unknown amount of time. So to accommodate the change, I've had to move the Madawaska rink attendant to Whitney to maintain the rink up here, while Hunter Florent will assume additional duties in Madawaska and take full control of the rink down there. Again, we had some warm weather and poor ice conditions, so we managed to get the rinks reopened on the 25th. And they're working hard, given the weather conditions, to regain some ice, and hopefully we can keep them open through March break. So the other issue is with our municipal landfill sites. Last October, well, I'll go back further than that. Last spring, the Ministry of the Environment was to have inspected both our sites. So we brought in a dozer. We spent in excess of $5,000. We spent 3 weeks cleaning up the sites, only to have the inspector cancel their visit. So then in the fall, the inspector came on October 25th for a compliance inspection at both sites. Following that inspection, the MECP has requested that the township file an action program to address operational issues at both landfill sites, and that was to be filed by the 15th of February. So I provided Kevin Mooter and JP2G with year-end stats and the information that they needed to form the basis of the response. And JP2G did come up with an action plan, and it was submitted by the 15th. Now, some of the issues were bears and birds digging up garbage, inadequate cover material over the garbage, which is, I think, in every report they've ever given them. Litter on the site was an issue. And then there was a slight issue about our recycling program and the paperwork regarding our ECA. So JP2G has dealt with that in their action plan. And I don't know, Brian, you've got a copy of it. I've got a copy. Did council receive a copy?
I don't believe so, no.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something moving forward we're going to have to deal with. These are compliance issues and it's a 34-page report, I believe, so. Yeah, so that's the situation with our landfill sites. And I guess my final item deals with our municipal sandboxes. I understand there's complaints about the works department not refilling them in a timely manner, so the next large portion of my report is an attempt for you folks to understand how the works department operates and what our challenges are regarding those sandboxes. So we have 2 sandboxes. They were put there as a courtesy service to residents. There's one here in Whitney beside the post office. The other one's at the west end of the Madawaska Municipal Complex. So we haul the sand from the dome in Madawaska to fill the boxes using truck number 34. I have photos of the unit if you're not familiar with what it looks like at the end of the presentation. So we use that truck to transport the sand to refill the boxes. It has a rear spinner attachment on the back, and you can see it at the back there. That's the part hanging down. It's one electrical connection and 2 pins. It weighs 87 pounds empty, and sometimes you get a bit of residual sand in the spinner, so it's almost 100 pounds in weight. So that has to come off before we can use the rear loader to fill the sand boxes. So the truck backs into the boxes, but the spinner is too low. Obviously, we have to take it off. Then on the side of the unit, there's a safety control button. It's a health and safety button. It's not shown there, but the operator has to physically push that button for the 15 minutes it takes to unload the sand and fill the sandbox. So the operator's out back physically operating the control. So the overall trip time, if you want to look at one refill of both boxes, would be over 90 minutes. I actually do a calculation later. It's 107 minutes on average. That's broken down in that process there. However, if unit 34 is out of service or down for repairs, not usable, we have to use a pickup truck. We use our patch pan that we use for cold mixing. We have to load the sand manually and fill the boxes out of the patch pan. It takes 2 full patch pans to fill each of those yellow boxes. So that would be 2 trips to fill the box at each location. And occasionally, because that truck does a lot of parking lots and entrances and sidewalks, there's a lot of shoveling that goes along with the plowing with unit 34. So sometimes when I have spare staff or a co-op student, we put 2 men on the truck. The one guy does most of the shoveling and the operator does the plowing to try and speed up operations. So if you add the fact that on some days you'll have 2 men on the truck, the man hours go up. So the other thing is each year since we started plowing municipal areas and parking lots, the workload has increased dramatically. And to simply put it, the workload for truck number 34 is more than it can do in a normal 8-hour day. And my timeline will show that if we are removed from our normal route and assigned duties to refill the sandbox, we lose basically an hour and a half. Or if we have to refill them twice in one day, we would lose technically 3 hours. And that schedule does not allow for even 1 refill when we're plowing and sanding during the snowstorm. So basically, if we're pulled off that duty to fill a sandbox, something doesn't get plowed. Okay, so that could be emergency services stuff, which is top priority. Do we not plow the helipad? I mean, that's an agreement with Orange Air Ambulance, which has its own maintenance level. You know, it has to be plowed. And the other thing I'll say is that the route is a time sensitive route. So anytime you alter that schedule, it causes us problems. And that's in a perfect world, by the way. I'm not taking into account special event facilities that may require us to alter that. It doesn't take into account if we have a breakdown or staff short. So I mean, the truck is busy. And then the other thing is that during periods of freezing rain or when it's really icy, the demand for sand obviously goes up. So we try and keep an eye on the boxes. We refill them as often as we can. But then we get defeated when somebody with their pickup truck backs into the box and takes it on. So basically, the bad behavior of a few spoil it for the people that do use it responsibly. And then we get a call saying, you gotta fill it now. So it's an ongoing problem. It's gonna happen again. It's happened in the past. And if you add a sandbox, it doesn't cure the human behavior problem and how they handle the removal responsibly. Yes, it's extra time for the works department to fill it. There would be extra sand. I have estimates here for more sandboxes. The cheapest sandbox is going to be over $500, up to over $1,000 to add an additional box. Plus the cost of the sand to fill it, plus the cost of, the gas, but I didn't figure even fuel for these types of things. So there are expenses attached to this so-called, what I call courtesy service. There is no level of service for this. We don't have a level of service for any of our parking lots or boat launches. So I get very frustrated when I get complaints and criticism for me and my staff to say, well, you're not filling the boxes. Well, that's our assigned work that's been handed down to me. Our guys do that in order. So if you want to change it, we'll follow your directions, council. Tell us what to do. We'll comply with it. The only thing is something's got to give. If we spend time doing that, then we can't do some of the other work. The other point I will make is you added these dry hydrants at Hay Lake, Mackenzie Lake, Aylan Lake, and we have one at Reeves Road on 523. During that schedule, we don't get to those that day in a snowstorm. And that's supposed to be a priority for emergency services. If 24, truck 24 or other small plows out of service, 34 has to go plow the M&L hall and the fire hall and the rink. And then we try and plow out the dry hydrant at Reeves Road because it's closed. But it takes at least 2 hours overtime to do that. So if you review those timelines, I'm just looking for guidance. If you want the sandboxes to take priority, fine, tell us, and we'll have to rearrange the routes, or we continue to do what we're doing now, which is fill them when we can. So, I'll leave that decision to you.
Okay, Councillor Florent, Councillor Rodnick, and myself. Go ahead, Councillor Florent.
First of all, before we had the sandboxes, people, not maybe the public so much, but especially the contractors that are using our sand to sand the store parking lot, the liquor store parking lot, they got their sand at the dome at the patrol yard up here. So we should not allow them to fill their trucks out of our sandboxes. They should be making arrangements with Fowler to buy their sand, the same as they used to. That would remove that. The second thing is, I cannot for the life of me understand why would we use truck number 34, the most inefficient method of filling those sandboxes, when we have 3 dump trucks. It'd take 2 minutes when the plow was going by to back into the sandbox and fill them out of the dump truck. No hold of the button or nothing, you just put the tailgate and you dump a little bit in.
And there's as much sand on the ground as it.
That's okay. That's
Well,
okay.
then you gotta clean it up.
Let me finish. If we spill some on the ground, or in fact, I would recommend dumping some on the ground beside the sandbox. And we pick it up in the spring when we're doing the rest of the sand pickup on the road. We're up here doing it anyway. And lots of times I see it dumped there in that location until there's an opportunity to remove it.
Yeah.
We take it back to the dome.
We used to do that, and that practice was stopped. The sand has salt in it. And I'm sure if you talk to the Minister of the Environment, they wouldn't allow that. That's why we have the boxes, so that the salt and that doesn't go into the environment. So That can be an issue, Joe.
That wasn't the reason we got the boxes. We got the boxes so that the sand wouldn't be contaminated with snow and mixed. We wanted it clean. That's another problem with this box in Whitney. People open the box, the lid falls right over to the back, and then it doesn't get closed again. So then it snows in the box and contaminates it again. There should be something put behind, as simple as a T-rail post, so that the door doesn't open right back. Just the one in Madawaska is not a problem because it opens up against that sea can. And so it'll actually almost fall back by itself. It's harder to leave it open than it is to leave it closed. And if we could do the same here with it, just a couple of steel posts in behind it, so the door won't flop right open.
Yeah, the hinges are actually getting worn on this one, so it goes further back than it ever used to.
Yeah, but we could fix that easy just
Yeah.
by putting a couple of
Point
posts in behind it. I still think, like I just noticed when I come in here today, the red truck was sanding the road. Sanding this road, it goes right at the sand.
Yeah.
Very easy thing just to stop in there and I don't care if it's filled right to the top, I don't care if it overflows, but it would be 2 minutes instead of an hour and 7 minutes or 107 minutes or whatever it is.
We use the small truck to keep the large tandems on time. I mean, this week I've had staff away on medical and illness, so I'm running 2 tandems at this point. So yesterday, the 2 tandems were plowing and it took them an hour's overtime just to do the regular route. And that's with the little red truck filling the sandboxes. So either way, we've got to take the plow out of service for a given amount of time to do that work.
2 minutes.
Okay, thanks, Councilor Floyd. I really appreciate comments. Thanks. Brian, Councilor Rodnick, you have.
Well, basically, I mean, you said it right off the top, but this is a courtesy. I don't think that should take priority with following the rules and everything else. I mean, you know, human nature being what it is, unfortunately, that's what we end up with, so. I just find that's I don't think we should forego plowing the road, and especially like, you know, with help pads and emergency service areas to fill a sandbox. I mean, I get my own sand. I buy it in bags.
I'm gonna weigh in on this, because I'm the one that instigated this. I'm the one, and I didn't mean to start World War III. And I'm trying to keep personalities out of this. I received a call about no sand in the sandbox. And the concern is that the sand truck was right at the fire hall, driving by, and the person couldn't understand why you couldn't put some sand in the sandbox. It was that very, very icy morning. I don't understand why all of a sudden getting sand in this courtesy box is such a big issue. Maybe we need some education. Maybe we need to say to people that's doing a half ton, please don't do that because you're taking sand away from other people that are coming down here, filling up a little bucket. And I know because I filled a little bucket, and I know someone that walks down that fills a little bucket, puts it on their driveway. So for me, it's a health and safety issue. Not that we have to do people's driveways, but I also happen to know that people, and some people go down, put sand in their trucks, not a half ton full or anything like that, go around and put sand in people's driveways for them as a courtesy. So as, you know, I understand where you're coming from. If that's what it takes away, then maybe we need to do an education piece about the courtesy sandbox. But I, as mayor, would not like to see those sandbox taken away. They're used, they're well used, and I appreciate, I actually called Brian because I was quite upset about the whole issue of why was a truck at the fire hall with a whole thing of sand and couldn't put any in the sandbox. And that's what was being seen. So sometimes people maybe misread this. I, as one, felt, well, why couldn't you just put some sand in the sandbox? So maybe we need some education. Maybe we need to work out how we do this. Maybe we need to say to people, well, if we put sand in the courtesy sandbox, then guess what? We may not get to plow your roads. You know, we've had a difficult year, all of us. It's been a lot of snow, We've had breakdowns, no one's fault. But I think it just adds to some of the frustration that's going on, in the township. So that's where it came from, Brian. Me getting a call from someone that, was quite upset, basically at what they seen. And, I watched, as the sandbox got filled again. And I watched for people, I actually drove around, seen people down there. I didn't see anyone with a half ton at that point in time. I went back the next morning. I was advised that there would be sand in that sandbox at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was down there at 8:15 and there was sand in the sandbox. So for council's information, it is a good service. It's a courtesy service, but I would not like to see it stop. I'm not saying it's at the expense of all the other things, because when we get a bad snowstorm, you need the plows out, you need sand out, you need this box filled. So I don't have the answer. I think council should be informed as to what happened in this situation. So I apologize. I didn't mean to hurt yours or any of the staff's feelings. I know they're working hard, but that's the situation that we kind of get into. It makes it, that you want to hear the concerns of your residents, but you also have to figure out, maybe it means me going talking to this person and saying, look, this is what transpired. Maybe that's what it means. I don't know. So I just will answer any questions that council may have, but that's where this all originated from.
Right. Now, on the day you called Brian, I was shorthanded. I was on that truck. It was me in that truck.
Okay.
And I take offense to the fact, yes, I drove by it several times, but keep into account, and if you look at the times I provided on this schedule, that I have to be in certain places at certain times when these buildings open to get work done, and the emergency services stuff comes first.
Of course it does.
And when we're doing all these, I can use more than one load of sand just doing those areas.
Yeah.
And have to reload and come back and finish.
So all you had to do, Brian, was phone me. You have my phone number. Phone me. I'd have called that person and said, look, here's the situation. There will be sand there when we can get there. I think it would have been simple as that, but I don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that kind of me-you discussion. We're here on behalf of the township, and thank you for the job that you're doing. Councillor Kuya. Oh, Councillor out there and
Yes.
wherever you are.
Yes.
Please,
Has the so-called contractors, have they been spoken to?
I haven't spoken to them. I don't have time to police the sandbox.
Hmm,
That's possible.
okay,
I have no, we put the sand there for people to take, and there's no standard. And I don't think people even pay attention to a sign if we put it there.
hmm,
So,
mhm. Yes, because if a contractor's going in and he's benefiting from that, right, because it is easy, it is right there, right? And if he's filling up his truck, that's not right.
no, that's right.
That's not,
You're absolutely
not
right,
right.
Councillor Fisher.
so as for myself, I try to prepare ahead of time, so I'll fill up 3-4 pails and I'll keep them at home. I'm ready for that, right? So if I need some sand for if I'm stuck or we got ice or what have you, right, in my laneway, I'm ready for it. When I read this, one thought that came to my mind was, what if we move the sandboxes to the dump? And then people could get their sand on Wednesdays or Saturdays.
Just on the top of my mind, Brian can maybe answer that better than me. Maybe it saves some time. But some of our people aren't driving to get this sand. I know one person that walks down and fills a little thing with sand, walks back. So I don't know if it would work or not, Councillor Pichon.
Not
Okay, it was
everybody
just-
goes
it was
to
just
the
a
dump,
thought.
Sean.
Hmm,
Councillor Pigeon, not everybody goes to the dump, like we have roads or driveway side or curbside pickup, and I would say probably less than 10% of our population ever goes to the dump.
okay, it was just an idea.
And
Okay,
there are restricted hours to it, and if you've ever been to the dump,
yeah,
you'll find out how congested it is. So that
Yeah,
just adds to the congestion.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, thank you.
thanks, Councillor Pichon. So I don't have any answers for you, Brian. I don't know whether council has anything they want to add. Take it for information. I'll try to refrain from anyone coming me about sand. I won't call you. And I'll try to do an education piece from my point of view, but keep in mind that, you know, people are used to that kind of a courtesy, and, I don't know that it was ever an issue that was brought up to the previous council. I don't know. So, anyway. Council Clea.
I just have a couple comments. You gave a very, detailed account of what that one vehicle does. And again, this is a courtesy sandbox. Everybody uses it. Short of posting something saying, this is a courtesy, please take as little as you need, or that it'll be filled whenever that is convenient. I don't know, but I think with all of the complaints about roads, and I know that there was a lot of machinery down, it might be in our best interest to have staff go and do sort of a review of what every machine should be doing on a given day. And maybe there is some way, like Councillor Florent was saying, that you could use that large sander to come and without disrupting everything. But maybe maybe it's just a good time to look at what everybody does.
The problems are weather related and time and varying at time. It doesn't
Everything
happen
happens
all
at
the time.
once.
When you get a freezing rainstorm and it's deadly slippery, everybody wants sand.
Right.
And I had requests for people from Allen Lake come and ask if they could come to the dome.
Yeah.
And they're very respectful about it, or if somebody else
Mhm.
needed sand, can they get it? Yeah. The one point I will make as to why we have those sandboxes in the first place was the amount of vehicles and sand coming out of that MTO dome at the East Gate was so substantial in the end, they got cut off.
Is that what
And
happened?
then, yes, they got cut off. because it
maybe
was
we could
truckload
reopen
after
that?
truckload coming out of their dome. And they eventually made the decision to say, you're not getting it anymore. And then council made the decision to put the sandboxes here.
Okay,
I think it's a well-received,
Yeah.
service. I mean,
for sure is.
I think, I'm not against it. I'm just saying there are times when we're not gonna be able to refill it when people want. on
Yeah,
demand.
no, understand,
Yeah.
totally understand, Brian. Thank you very much.
The only other thing in my report is, I'll be away this weekend. So Tommy Florent will take the on-call supervisor's phone. So all calls will be directly forwarded to Tommy through Tuesday morning at 6. So I'll be gone Friday at 4 o'clock through the weekend. Just-
Well, have a great weekend. Thank you for everything. Any other questions? Okay, we're moving on to the fire report. Well, as you know, Ian's in Belize. So, are there any questions on the fire report? Okay, well, we'll notice as received. Thank you very much. Going on to, sorry, Brian, did you want to do part of your?
Certainly, the staff reports, we did receive our plow tender. I was a little bit disappointed. We went out to tender, to direct tender with some known suppliers for plow trucks. And we also put it out on Merck's. Merck's is a government purchasing and tendering site that is very well utilized across the province. And at the end of the day, we only received one tender. So Winslow Jerome out of Peterborough is the one person that's given us a price. And something that's kind of new to me, but I knew this was the way things were happening, having spoken to some of the treasurers in the province at a couple of sessions I've been at. The pricing they give us today is not the pricing we're going to pay for the truck when it delivers. So they give us pricing as based on their 2023 price sheet. As of April, there's a new price sheet that comes out for 2024. They'll update and revise their pricing based on the 2024 price sheet after April.
They're telling us right now that at the very earliest, third quarter 2024. At the worst case, first quarter 2025, before they have that vehicle ready for delivery. They only have 40 vehicles annually right now that they're able to build as a dealer. And he told me right now, I'm number 42 or 43 for 2024. So he doesn't have his actual allocation. They've told him to expect the same allocation he had in 2023. So he's anticipating a 2025 likely delivery of our vehicle. With that said, in April next year, he'll have an April 2025, he'll have a 2025 price sheet. And they'll update it again. So we're due for 2 updates likely before we actually take delivery of the truck. The good side is we have the option to walk away at any time. Bad news is it's an essential vehicle that we can't really do without. And there's no other supplier that we can just go and pick one up from and say, no, we don't want that truck now. I do know the county or when these trucks, a lot of times right now, when these trucks are not being purchased, when the municipality walks away from them or a construction company walks away from them for one reason or another, AMO, our Association of Ontario Municipalities, has a program called Canoe. That Canoe program is receiving a lot of these vehicles as available, and they're doing bids on them. My understanding is they would take this 334 as a starting bid, and it'll run up as high as a municipality is willing to purchase it for. So as an example, the county of Redford recently bought one from Canoe and paid $440,000 for that truck. I'm not sure where the value was originally, but that's what the final bid was on it. So I've heard over and over again, between 350 and 450 seems to be the norm for the truck. So we from that perspective, we got a solid bid. The downside is we really don't know what that final purchase price is going to be. But I can't not recommend moving forward with awarding the tender to Winslow Girolami and pray that cost of living indexes don't go up by 15% a year for the next 2 years as well.
Do we need a bylaw or a resolution on this?
There is a resolution, I believe,
In the-
currently in the
in the-
package
okay.
for approval of that tender. I'll turn it over to council in case there's any questions, comments on it.
Any questions, comments on the information that Brian has provided?
It's a whole new world.
It certainly is.
Gee. You know, like, I mean, there again, how can you even plan? I mean, all you're doing is ballparking things.
Yeah.
And there's no alternative.
They've given us a placeholder for budget purposes
Yeah.
for 2025.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
really all they've done at this point.
Well over 450,000 by the time we're finished.
Yeah, I'm gonna venture to guess that at the end of the day, we're probably gonna be in the 350 to 375 range. But we'll see in 2 years when we take delivery,
I think it's gonna
if I
be-
was correct or not.
But it is possible that we could take delivery in the 3rd or 4th quarter of 2024 as well. Because they've left that option open that they could deliver it then, and that would save us at least 2% from inflation from the 2025.
Potentially, Joe, I think the challenge is right now, his 2023 lineup is fully
Yeah.
occupied. His 2024 lineup, as far as he knows, he has 40 places. And we're 42 or 43. So if he only gets 40, unless somebody drops out of the queue, I'm gonna project first quarter 2025 and hope maybe there's a possibility of getting it sooner.
So what are we doing in the meantime?
Well, we're spending a lot of money on repairs
Yeah, exactly.
on the truck that we want to.
Number 7, I think, Brian, in the last 6 months or so, I've probably invested about 50,000 into number 7. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
So, we're really buying time with this vehicle. But at 50,000, that's a substantial investment that we really should have had an appropriate plan in place that would replace the equipment over a period of time. We've been building up some reserves a little bit, so that's going to help mitigate some of the pain when we take delivery. But certainly the comprehensive asset management plan that'll come before council probably in April, early May, will help address the financial planning component that hopefully we won't be questioning, okay, well, how are we paying for these things in the future?
Well, anyone else have any comments that they'd like to add? Councillor Pijal, do you have anything?
Oh, as usual, I do. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a good idea, Brian, is to plan for the future instead of just waiting until it happens, right? So we can get a program in place where we can start replacing our stuff on a regular basis, right? Because we know it's going to wear out, correct?
Well, exactly.
So yeah, I think it's an awesome idea for sure. It's too bad it's so much money though, but it is what it is.
Okay, seeing no other comments, so we'll move way till we get to the resolution on this. Anything else on this one, Brian? You
That's
want to
it,
do
yeah.
this? That's it? The flying feathers or?
The flying feathers, yes.
Okay, thank
So
you.
just a bit of a background, the flying feathers, if you look at my report, has been in operation since prior to amalgamation. At the time of amalgamation, it was clear all boards, commissions, and otherwise of the former municipalities would become part of the new amalgamated municipalities. The Flying Feathers provides a recreational service to the community that the municipality is not, doesn't provide otherwise. They've been being given a grant, and I don't think that it's ever had any inflationary adjustments to it. From what I could see, I didn't go back to day one of amalgamation or anything, but they've been getting about $2,500 annually, which helps offset the operating costs, which includes snow removal and any other activities that they may need some money for. So because Councillor Florent identified he needed to declare a conflict on this, I felt the appropriate way to bring this forward for council's discussion and consideration would be at a separate meeting from the budget. And that way, Councillor Florent is still able to vote on the budget as a whole and discuss the budget as a whole and not be concerned about one item that would have created a conflict of interest for him.
Okay,
I think it's okay for me to
Speak to it.
This discussion, right?
You can speak to it, you just can't vote, right?
That's right. When we had the presentation from the integrity commissioner before this term of office, I've always declared a conflict when it came to, we used to pay this grant out as we were paying bills, and I declared a conflict in that. But my question to Tony, the integrity commissioner, was, do I have a conflict during budget time? And his decision was that, yes, I did, because I could be waffling on spending some money somewhere else to ensure that there was money for this.
okay.
So I asked him for what we could do to get around it. And this was one of his solutions,
Suggestion.
was to pass a motion separate from the budget that I would abstain from, and then I would be legally, because it would then, if it's already set, it's not part of the budget. So then I wouldn't have a conflict when we're discussing the budget. And I want to add a little bit to that report. It kind of says that we got that money since amalgamation. That's not quite true. When amalgamation took place, the funding stopped. After a couple of years, the club was getting in financial straits. So I did some research. I come up with this document here, which is the what's the title?
Restructuring order?
The restructuring order from the minister Al Leach at the time. And it said that the new corporation was responsible for all the assets and liabilities of the old corporations. So I went to council at the time. Jim Advansky was mayor. It was in a period when I wasn't on council, and made a presentation that legally, according to that document, the new council was responsible for the same amount of money that the old local services board was. And they agreed. but didn't want to get into the nitpicking of itemizing everything they would just give us an operational grant instead. So that's kind of the background. So it's not 1998 that it started. It's like 2001 or 2002, somewhere in there.
Okay. Okay, any other comments or questions on this? It's pretty straightforward and I don't have any problem with it. When we compare it to our road budget and recreation and other things we're paying, it's pretty much a minimal amount for a good service. Councilor Rodnick.
How come this wouldn't fit underneath the recreation committee? Like, wouldn't it be part of their budget?
No,
Because the Flying Feathers Archery Club is incorporated, is not for profit.
Okay,
So it's separate from the recreation and separate from the township.
How many members do they have now?
It changes every year. I think I just issued a receipt yesterday or the day before. It was number 20. We usually run around 30 members per year,
okay,
but there's a lot of people use the club that aren't members as well.
yeah,
They come with them.
yeah. Okay, so it's still active then?
yeah. it's pretty
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys used to do the, something over the March break for,
We did, but I didn't want to commit this year because of a few of
Right.
the health problems that I'm having. And the last 2 years, we haven't had anything because of COVID. But prior to COVID, we did run a program in March break, as well as I ran one night a week all winter for the youth.
yeah, I was trying to remember what it was.
And hopefully we can go back to that.
You know, the only thing that I would myself like to see is, we should probably get some sort of report on an annual basis to, see where the club is at.
We do.
But I've never seen one.
Oh, well, I do budget estimate.
Yeah.
That tells how much money we had in the bank at the start of the year, how much there is at the end of the year, what events we have for raising funds for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well,
it's a budget estimate.
Yeah.
And after the budget is passed, our budget is passed, I usually submitted that to Carla, I think. And then it was approved, and then it came up in the bills for payment,
Right.
which we pay, we don't do that.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
any
just,
other?
I'd like to know kind of, how well is the organization progressing, like I said, and, just say sometimes that, we held these events and we had this many people, our attendance is up or down, just to.
We hold 4 open tournaments over the winter. The last couple of years, we haven't had any summer events, but we have hosted the provincial championships, I think 3 or 4 times since 2000.
I remember reading it in the paper.
Right now, it's like any other organization, we're short on volunteers and short on able bodies to do things. And I had to scale back a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with it. It would just be nice though to know that there's some, at the end of it, that there's some accountability for that money.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different. We operate the skating rinks and everything else too. It's.
Well,
most economical way of providing.
I wouldn't have any
service.
problem with Carla sharing that a budget estimate with council.
Yeah.
It's a not-for-profit corporation, it's open books, like anybody can look at it anytime they want.
Yeah. Well, it's just like I said, out of curiosity, it's nice to know that what's happening in the club.
Just same as any other organization, the costs keep going up and up and up and up every year.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's not just the money I was talking.
I was surprised to hear that it was still up and function, because I don't hear or see anything,
The
paper wise.
The Flying Feathers Archery Club came into existence when the pioneer days was still, actually, the club itself pre-exists the clubhouse.
Right,
The members.
Right, goes
the
back a
members
while.
built the club. The clubhouse was built in '88, so the club existed for a few years before that.
yeah. It was very active when it got going, when it first started, there was a lot of activity.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm glad it's still going. Any other comments from members of council? Okay, we have a resolution that will come forward later and Carla on that. And the housing needs we're going to table. Okay, so we're okay with your report?
Yeah.
Thank you. The next report is from, oh, so you okay?
Yeah, I just, before we get off of reports, because the fire chief isn't here, if it's possible, I'd just like to go back to one item on his report, and it's concerning the snowmobile rescue call on February the 2nd. February 2nd was the night where the temperature plummeted. I think it was like 40 below in the morning.
Pretty close.
And these couple had run off the trail
Oh,
and they got stuck and they couldn't get the snowmobile back on the trail. And they had been there 4 hours when our guys got there and got them back on the trail again and got them on their way. And like in Ian's report, it says that in all likelihood, these people would have froze to death.
oh my goodness, that's,
They
thank
were,
you.
it was an Asian couple from the city, so they certainly were not able to cope with the environment of being stranded in the bush in the middle of the night at 40 below zero. So I only want to mention that because numerous times in the past and probably in the future, the fact that we do snowmobile rescues comes up to council over and over and over, that maybe we shouldn't do that. Well, this is a prime example
Yeah,
of why we should do that.
It's the fire department that goes
It's the
out.
fire, it was the fire chief and 2 firefighters.
Right.
They actually responded with 3 snowmobiles, because 2 of the snowmobiles were already loaded on trailers from individual firefighters, so they took their own. So they took the fire department snowmobile and 2 other private ones and got these people on their way in the middle of the night.
that's really good. Well, thanks for alerting us to that, Councilor Floyd. Yeah, well, our committees and people do pretty good work and we should be very thankful for the work that they do. And we are. Okay, we have the South Algonquin Public Library. I think Charlene's on. There she
Yes.
is.
Good morning,
Hi, Shelley.
everyone.
Morning.
Sorry, I'm a bit rushed. I've got a class of kids coming in like 17 minutes and I got to get to the library.
Okay.
Does-
Walking.
no, I actually have a ride today. I couldn't have teleported
Okay.
that quick.
Good, good.
Does
We'll make
anyone
it quick.
does anyone happen to have any questions?
Any questions from members of council? No, there aren't any. Yeah, that's a good report.
I do want to ask though, if what would you like me to include in my reports? If there's anything specific anyone can think of that maybe I'm not covering, what would people like to see in my reports?
I think for me, it's fine, but I'll ask member of council. No, well, I think it's fine the way it is, Charlene. The only thing I have, and I don't know that it's possible, but is an answer, with respect to the presentation that's coming up on March 6th.
Mhm.
I've had inquiries as to whether or not it could be put on YouTube or that people
Mhm.
could see it. So I don't know whether you've had that request or not. I've just said at this point in time, I don't think it's possible. I don't know whether you've had any requests or not.
Actually, I have, for the first session and this one. I did originally, I asked Christine about streaming it. And it was her decision. She felt due to the sensitivity of the information and the conversations that it fosters. A lot of people were really opening up and sharing their experiences, and she felt if we were to be live streaming, people maybe wouldn't open up as much.
Well, I think that's a good point.
And so it was discussed, and yes, I've had quite a few requests, and I've also received 3 requests so far to rehold that first session again. So that's something that we're going to consider down the road because it's information that people want.
Okay, well, that's good to know, and that's what members of council should know, should they get an inquiry about it, that is due to the, the sensitivity of this issue and people in their comments, they want to be in a kind of, in their opinion, a private, secure place, so where they're comfortable. So I understand that and I appreciate that, but I just thought that people should know why it's not being live streamed and that, you know, we're not looking at ways that it could have been.
Absolutely, and the library board does intend to start live streaming our other public events, providing that our guests are comfortable with it at the time. So when Adam Schultz comes in May, we plan to live stream that performance. I shouldn't say performance, but event. So it is something that we do intend to start offering, I guess live stream to our Facebook platform. I'm not quite sure yet. But yes, it's something that we would like to do going forward.
Okay, well, thank you. And it's just good information to know, because if, you know, we're getting questioned, it's just easier to talk about the sensitivity of it, and people then, in my opinion, will understand.
Absolutely. And the other thing I want to mention is the library will be having a strategic planning meeting on March 13th. So we'll be analyzing our survey data and a few other things to finalize our plan.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Well, thank you. Any questions for Charlene? Comments? No? Okay, thank you, Charlene. That was a good meeting.
Thank you. Have a good day,
We'll get
everyone.
there on time.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, the last report is the recreation. You doing that, Joe? Or,
Not prepared to.
okay, okay, well, for our information then, is there any other committee or staff reports that I'm missing? No?
Just give a quick look in my diary to see if I have anything written down from the February meeting.
Okay, thanks.
Don't think there was anything earth shattering.
Okay, well, no news is good news.
Oh, they did recommend that a new snow blower for the Madawaska rate we put in the budget, because again, it had a lot of repairs with the existing one, and when it's down, it's down.
Down, yeah.
I can just, I saw that probably before you saw it, and some other people on Facebook. Smart Serve now
Yes.
is changing one, that's gonna affect our recreation committees monthly. We used to pay for their Smart Serve courses, and now if you have it, we've had it since prior to 2018, we want you to recertify. And that's a lot of our recreation committees. Something that think about, because it's good, because it's right before Canada Day too, I think the cutoff is, we need to get renewed.
Yeah, one time when you had Smart Serve, you had it for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you have to,
Renew it
Redo.
for 5 years now.
You just gotta get smarter.
we don't have,
I could give a verbal on the Whitney rec.
okay, go ahead, Council.
I have asked
Yeah.
for minutes, but I haven't received any yet. We have met a couple times. And again, new members, so people are just getting their feet wet and awfully keen as well. St. Patty's Day is coming up. I believe there's one dances, one for the children and then one for adults. And I think they're looking at others coming up. I'm not sure about Easter, but Lori and I met with town people that were interested in the beautification and had a good turnout. I am now trying to work on a plan, I guess, to bring back to the rec committee and get their sort of nod before it comes here so that everybody can have a peek at it. A lot of good ideas and a lot of people that want to see some things in town. So also met with the Saba Business Association on behalf of Sean and for their annual general. And just out of interest, they had finally developed, some goals, I guess, 3 pillars is how they're referring to that. To concentrate their efforts on trail tourism, night sky, and meditative, which is, mindful nature tourism. So if you hear the term, forest bathing, that would be included, in that. So that was nice to hear and see. So that if there was something, either to, rec committees wanted to, help with, we could certainly partner as well. They were talking about at least 6 summer jobs that they were going to hopefully have money for. And again, a variety of issues, but that's about all.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any questions on Council Kuyak's report? No? Okay, and I'm going to move, are we finished with staff reports? Read it for now. I'm going to move to any council reports. I think we've kind of done them, but I'll just ask if any council member has any reports they want to give. Council, please, any reports on your travels?
No, wait until I come back though.
Okay.
I do have a question. How's the garbage truck?
Oh, it's repaired.
All back in?
Yeah, so there were 2 separate issues. One was a set of 1.25 inch steel hydraulic lines that run the length of the packer front to back.
Right.
And it's a very enclosed space. There's specially fitted lines. So one of those was leaking. We tried to do a regular hydraulic line repair and we couldn't get the proper fitting. So we took it to Fanatec in Huntsville, who made the truck. And actually the mechanic who built the truck was the one that did the repairs, which was good. So Fanatec treated us very well. So we got the truck back, and then lo and behold, on I believe it was Wednesday, the solenoid that controlled the Packer function malfunctioned, so we had no Packer. So there's 2 different solenoids on that particular truck. So it was a 50-50 chance that even if you went and picked up the part, it may not be the right one. And secondly, there might be a third issue. So we took the truck that afternoon to Huntsville and they worked on it immediately. So they replaced the solenoid and there was a short, wire to the cable, safety cable at the back where the hopper lifts up, and they adjusted the levers. So it was the right decision to take the truck to Fanatec. They built the truck, and so it's back in service. So just unfortunate back-to-back repairs of a separate nature, and our guys picked up the slack, using the trailer and packing by hand. And unfortunately, some of the businesses didn't get their bins collected on time, but when that truck goes down, it's the only way you can lift those bins. So anyways, there's no problem with the truck. Good.
How old is that truck, Brian?
It's a 2014. So again, your asset management plan.
Yeah. I guess we have to look at the budget down the road for one of waste management truck. Anyway, thanks.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, seeing none, I'll move on to any business arising from the minutes. No business arising. Any unfinished business that council wants to report? Oh, we're moving right along. Council Quiexley.
I just think we are going to address it, but from a committee standpoint, I had brought forth 3 or 4 things from last meeting to go to committee. So I would assume when we get down there, we'll be setting dates up, right?
Under new business, we have scheduled
Okay,
committee meeting.
yep, great, thank you.
Okay. Under correspondence action items, we have to do one by one. Kind of lost here on my. Are we just going to the resolutions for the action items, or do we have to go through each one?
Pardon me?
The action items on our agenda?
Yeah, we'll have to go through them all.
We have
There's
to
just
go through
one. That's
Okay,
the only one.
okay, so the public works draft description, will we
Yeah.
deal with that in camera?
No, we can deal with the job description. in
Okay.
open Session.
Okay, so we're going to deal with the job description of Public Works Superintendent. Go ahead, Brian.
So the Public Works Superintendent's position, we've been reviewing the responsibilities of the position. Myself, Councillor Florent and Councillor Collins met and had some conversations about potential, for starters, to clean up the job description a little bit and make it a little more general. It was very specific in educational requirements that weren't necessarily absolutely essential. And if you need an educational requirement, well, let's just generalize. We want to try and get the best qualified candidate that we can, and hopefully locally as we can as part of that. The job description definitely had stuff in it that didn't need to be in there. So we pulled some of that out. We also talked about, some of the ways that we might, once we've hired this individual, better manage the department with maybe some responsibilities or making people more responsible and accountable for certain sections and areas of the department. But we were fairly confident that the job description itself, I've reassessed it. There are no changes in the pointing system based on that job description whatsoever. It doesn't drop a pay grade below where it currently is on the grouping in our pay grouping. The next one down actually is the chief building official on that grid. So it's kind of hard to equate the responsibilities of somebody looking after the staff and all of those departments to the chief building official. But I did go through the official review and ensured that it stayed within the parameters for the point spread because there is 150 points between each group on our grid. And it ensure that we weren't upsetting the pay compensation and pay equity requirements that were legislated to maintain. And Joe, I don't know, did you have anything you wanted to say as a member of that group regarding the position and the job description?
I don't think so. I think the job description is available for all the councilors to look at now, and I will certainly be open to any other suggestions. I think Brian's already said, took care of everything that I would think it was. Some of the qualifications were extreme, and I don't think there was any hope ever of finding somebody with those specific qualifications. And if we did, it would certainly be above our pay grade.
Okay, any other questions or comments about the job description?
How it suited the job perfectly.
Once the job description, council's accepted that, the next step will be I will publish both internally and externally the opportunity to apply for the position. We will then, I'm going to give it, I think 2 weeks should be more than sufficient to close this position. And if for some reason we find in 2 weeks we don't have what we need, we can always extend. If we've only got one candidate, we can always extend the deadline if that becomes necessary. The only other item that I'll need some direction on is the composition of the hiring committee as it relates to who should be sat there. My experience is generally, and this is in general terms, for a senior position like that, you would normally have the CIO and the mayor sat there. And then you may have 1 or 2 counselors sat there, and you may have an external, or you may not have an external expert there to help guide the process. So I think I'll need some guidance on how council sees that this position coming together. And that way we can hit the ground running once the applications are being received.
Any other comments? I just had one comment in terms of the job description. Should we not be asking for someone like with a CET, a civil engineer technology, just as a to say, not to say that has to be, but would be an asset. I throw that out to council. That would be I read all this and that would be my question.
You seem to be looking at me.
No, not,
I think it would certainly be an asset, but I don't think it's a requirement, because anytime we do projects, we send them out for engineering
Mhm.
anyway. So like you're kind of doubling it up, like we're hiring somebody to be our engineer, and then if we had an engineer on staff,
Mhm.
it certainly would be an asset if somebody already had that, but I don't think it's necessary.
What's council's feeling? I really think it should put in there as an asset anyways. Was it in the other job description?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have, the other job description, it had a qualification, I can't recall now off the top,
Okay,
I think it may have even had a civil technologist on it.
okay,
And it's not a bad thing to ask for. I mean, somebody that's recognized through OSAT shows that they've done their diligence. It's not a university engineering diploma by any means, but it's certainly it's a 3-year program at community college to get it's a C Tech. And in order to get your designation, which is a CET, you have about a 5,000 word essay that has to be submitted to OSAT, which is the Ontario Association of Engineers and Certified Technologists. So I don't have a problem amending the job description to say that, it would be an asset, or that it would be a preferred qualification. I wouldn't put it in, I don't think, as a mandatory qualification, but certainly I have no problem. And as I said, based on the job description, we're already looking for community college as a minimum anyway, so it's not going to affect the educational component as it relates to the point scheme anyway.
okay.
I can think of a situation where it might be detrimental to have a degree. Because say we're like this, Hay Creek Road, for instance, we send it out for engineered drawings and everything. So down the road, if something goes wrong with that plan, it's the engineer's fault because he okayed the drawings. If we have our own engineer on staff and he doesn't draw it to attention before construction, I think it's our responsibility.
But no, because I think any of the projects that we do in that regard, Councillor Florent, I would still continue to vote for engineering design because that's who the experts are. CET is certainly not an engineer. An engineer's got 4 years of university, and currently they need to do 2 years to get their professional engineering stamp. So they're another step up. It's like going to a nurse or a nurse practitioner. There's a definite difference between the two. So I wouldn't have somebody that would be doing design drawings. We'd still have a certified stamp on those, and that engineer's stamp is what liability would fall to. Would it give us some benefit in some of the, making sure we've got the appropriate drainage and things in some of our roads? It probably does, by having somebody that's, can go out and shoot those grades and understands the fall and how water, runs downhill, and when it hits the bottom, it doesn't run back up the hill again.
Sure.
But certainly I don't, there is a significant difference, and I can say that in a major project, I would continue to always go for engineered drawings, simply because we don't need the liability associated with it.
Okay. Council
I
Queen?
just had one question. It was very comprehensive. I didn't have anything to compare it to though. So it would be nice in the future that if you were making changes to something that give us what you changed, like what you deleted, what you didn't. It would have been nice. I mean, I went back in to look to see if I could find the actual position as it sits now to what you did for the update. And it was like, oh, this is way too much. So I just, I took it for what you guys did, but it would be nice just from a knowledge standpoint, what you did change.
And certainly I can provide you with the original job description as well. It's about two pages longer than it.
I bet
It get into a lot of the nuances and the details of the job. They're gonna manage.
Yes.
Well, they're gonna manage this, and this. Well, you don't need to manage 20 items. If you're managing, you're managing,
Yes.
right? You're taking general care and control of your department.
Right. I agree.
I raised that same issue, in terms of the comparison, and my understanding is nothing has drastically changed. It was more of a cleanup of the job description, as I understand.
Yes,
So is council comfortable at adding a CET as an asset or leaving it as it is? It's up to council.
Well,
Council
I guess it-
Pija.
I guess it would depend on what you were going to, if you were scoring people at the time of the interview,
Yeah,
is that going to tip the scale?
yeah.
Well, it certainly would.
it certainly will, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, there is a scoring process to assess and evaluate every candidate that we are going to take to interview. It's a consensus process as we go through that scoring. But there will be evaluation criteria. And, you know, if you've got an option of somebody without it and somebody with it, it may tip the scale, but somebody with it may have no experience,
Right.
or somebody else may have 10 years of experience. So that 10 years of experience is going to wait out, right?
Yeah. Anybody applying for the job is going to get an interview, if not the job, with that qualification anyway, so.
That's right.
Okay, any other comments?
No, exactly.
So are we putting it in or not?
Yeah, we can add it as an asset, for
Okay.
sure.
I'll add it in there.
Thank you. Okay, in terms of the composition of the hiring committee, we're looking for council's comments on this.
I agree with Brian. It should be the mayor, the CEO and one or two councillors. The more usually you add up all the points from each individual and then
Yeah,
and I think it just ensures that everybody's on the same page, and I think it ensures that you get the best candidate that applies for the job. And that's one thing that the public has to remember when they criticize who you hire, because they always will,
go ahead.
is you can't hire the guy that didn't apply for the job. You hire the best applicant,
Yes,
and that's
exactly.
all we can do.
Yeah. And you know, this is a very senior position in this township, and I
Yeah.
think that we have to try to find the best fit for this position, and you know, so be it. So any other comments about this? No.
No.
Okay, well, we'll move right along with it then. Now, my question is, though, Brian, is when we put out the call for this, does all of this have to go in?
No, so when I put out the call for the
Just
position,
say 5 pages, they'll quit.
we'll send out a summary of responsibilities, right? And we'll publish it in the local paper in Barry's Bay, and the local paper in Bancroft. We'll publish it on our website. I'll send it out to AORS, which is the Ontario Association of Road Supervisors. And that goes out to a lot of people within the industry. So I'm hoping that by doing that, we will get some response. I mean, we'll certainly send it out to the local resource center. If council wants a copy of the ad and they want to share it on their own Facebook pages, you're more than welcome to, or, you know, you want to send it out to people. The caveat is you send it out to people and make sure you let them know that all this is a notice for the ad. It's not an opportunity that you think they should, you know, be the person to get the job, because I don't play preferential hiring in any way, shape, or form. So if they call me and say, hey, the mayor told me to apply for this job, it doesn't matter.
Is it Indeed that people use? What is that online
The electronic,
for
fund?
job?
Yeah, we can use the job bank. The one challenge I find with using the job bank, Canada's job bank is a wonderful avenue. But the problem, the last time I went out for director of recreation through that job bank, I got 700 resumes, and there were only about 6 that actually had anything that was anywhere near qualified. So what happens is it overloads your email box, and you've got to sift through all these unqualified applicants that all of a sudden think that because they filled a pothole once in their life, that they're now a public works superintendent.
Right.
There's a lot of skill that's necessary to take on those roles, and certainly I can put it out at the job bank. It
Yeah.
goes out nationally.
No, if that's what.
But I do find that my experience with it is it overwhelms you with a lot of unqualified applicants more often than not.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Anything else on this? You okay, Councilor Fijo? He's
Looks
going.
burned.
His face looks red.
Necessity.
Good fried.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, we're at, any other things we need to do on this? Are we okay, Brian?
Yeah, that's everything.
Okay, thank you. We have, information items, anybody? For your enjoyable reading, the 107-page reports that we get. So the next new business is schedule committee meeting dates. Is that what you want, Councilor Kuya?
Yes.
Okay, you're up.
Yeah, so we obviously sent out a schedule as kind of a template at the beginning of the year, or to kind of guide council as to when we would schedule meetings. The challenge with taking meetings outside of the context of those, that one Wednesday that I've set, is that I've set it so that this week we have council. Next week, we can get an agenda out for the next meeting. Then we've got the meeting time, we have to get the package out to council. And then council has a chance to review the package, and then we have time to put it onto the next agenda for regular council, and so that anything that's done at committee can go right to the next council meeting. It doesn't end up being looked at in March and brought into the May meeting of council. So that's kind of why we staged those dates with council. But that said, it's obvious there's some extra business that council wants to get addressing. And because council wants to get addressing some of that extra business, we want to know what committee meetings council would like to add, and then how urgently we'd like to add them, with the knowledge that if we have a meeting in March, if the timing doesn't fall right, that meeting may not get to the April council meeting. It may have to fall into the May council meeting. So you're just going to have a little bit of a lag unless we call a special meeting of council to address those items. So I just put it out there to kind of get an idea. I think Tracy,
I need a committee of adjustments.
great Tracy, I need a committee of adjustment meeting.
So whatever committee meeting, you decide to have, there will be a committee of adjustment before. If it'll be too short,
So you need one in April?
preferably, yeah. And I know, Councillor Kuyak, I had mentioned the 25th, I just pulled a date. I believe Councillor Rodnick can attend that date. And then Councillor Kuyak came back and said the 12th.
Okay.
I think the 9th, 10th, and 11th is April, or?
No, it's the following, the following week, I think, so. Like the 7th.
Oh, is it?
16th, 17th, 18th is the road.
Oh, right.
The Ontario Big Roads, yes.
Oh, right. So I just need a date. And when committee is going to that meeting.
And certainly if the items are, if we've got enough small items, maybe we could just combine them into like one half day or whatever meeting time we needed. John, I think you raised a number of items that you wanted to.
I did, but I guess my thing is that, well, if you don't have a committee meetings, things just don't
Happen,
right.
You're absolutely right.
Progress.
right?
So if you don't have a meeting, like I realize the big one here coming up is budget, but if you don't have anything then until May, April, and if that's already full, then the next thing you know, it's May, and then the next thing you know, it's gonna be fall, because nobody's gonna want to do anything over the holidays.
So you're thinking of having
So,
more than one committee meeting?
well, I don't know how things work. I'm just bringing it up that
Generally,
you know,
one committee meeting.
we
but-
have been sitting here since December. Joe, you had one meeting. I can't remember what that was.
I've been requesting us an asset management meeting because there's a speed limit change that I want to address. It should go through asset management before it comes to council as a motion. My original intent was to have it passed so that the signs could be changed when the signs can be changed, which is probably May realistically. So, you know, if we had an asset management meeting, so I could address that
And then we.
sometime before the May council meeting, because the May council meetings our council meetings are very early in the month.
Right, yes,
And at that point in time, I think the half loads will still be on. So it's mainly a problem in the log haul season. And some tourism, because Major Lake Road is used more and more for park access all the time as well.
And that's crazy. The log trucks are crazy.
Oh, it's absolutely nuts. And there's an intersection and a lane across from each other that's in the wrong side of the speed change. So we want to get that changed, make it more safe.
I think we could just probably do that as long as we provided notice, though. Because the
Yeah.
police study would have reflected that, right?
yeah,
I'm not sure if
I'll have
that
to look at
if
it.
the location of the speed signs were in that study or not. I know there's a standard, and if you post any, you gotta post them according to the regulation. That road's already posted, it's just that it changes in the wrong location. It should be about at least a half a kilometer north of where it is.
maybe I misunderstand, but as chair of the asset management, can you not just call a meeting, Joe?
Well,
Provide a date or,
within reason, yeah.
yeah, no, I
I'm
mean,
not gonna call a meeting until they can take it.
okay,
And
'Cause I-
usually we have more than one issue to address.
that's
But,
right,
you know, if we're gonna meet anyway for an, Tracy's meeting, we could tack on an asset management meeting, even if there was only the one item on it.
that's right, yeah, that's what I was just going to suggest, that we do it that way,
And if there's only one item, we could probably have another committee.
you know.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
We used to always have waste management and asset management at the same time. And each meeting usually took an hour, hour and a half or so.
Okay. Yeah, so are we trying to figure out when we want these meetings then, or some idea?
Yeah,
or-
just some idea if we want to schedule some extras, because that's what it sounds to me like we're looking for.
Well, I
And
think,
that's why I did grab council's calendar and throw it up on the screen just so that it was readily available for everybody. So we've got budget was pushed from the 15th of February to the 15th of March. That's still a go. We have our next council meeting on April 5th. So if there was something that we wanted to get on that April 5th council agenda, we would need to present it to committee on the 22nd at the latest in order to ensure it got there. Anything after that will be hitting our May meeting on the 3rd.
So just to clarify, when you say if there is anything, it should go to council first, right? So give me an example of what you said of that.
Yeah, so anything normally, a lot of things I'm trying to push everything to committees.
Right,
When it goes to committee, then we've had time to discuss it, debate it, and
and
then
then it goes back.
it comes back to council for your resolutions. That's how my preferred option to get things moving is. It doesn't result in me pulling reports like I did today, because there's a couple of things that need to be cleaned up so that we can bring it back to council. So now that's just put a delay on that report, but I know how urgent that report was for council. So I'm trying to push it, and I pushed it a little faster maybe than I should have.
Okay.
So if we want to add a meeting in this month yet, if we want to add a meeting in April, obviously April the 16th to the 19th is taken by OGRA. At the moment, I'm slated to be there, but if we get our new road super hired by then, I'm going to defer to him. But I understand that some of council will be at that, so that's probably not a good week to have a meeting anyway. And then May, we're looking at, we've got FCM or Phonom is in May. So if council would like to add a couple of dates to here, it's easier to add when everybody's got their calendars in front of them than to try and email around looking for dates.
I know traditionally we've had all of our meetings on Wednesdays,
Yeah.
specifically Wednesday morning. I'm okay with deferring from that. Like on a
I'm
Tuesday
fine
or
with that as
Thursday,
well.
whatever works.
I like the first Wednesdays of the month for council, because then it's in my calendar
Yeah.
now for the year.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then you kind of work up to council, but you kind of work around that.
Well, I'm not suggesting we change the dates for the council.
Oh,
I'm just
okay,
talking about
okay.
committee
Just if we want to add some extra committee meetings, if they have to land on a Tuesday or a Thursday or something, the opportunity is there.
So is there any you want a committee of adjustment in April?
You need one on, I think you're scheduling the 12th, right?
Well, it was either the 12th or the 25th.
So I mean, I think,
And there, we can change it. I just need a date I can post notice.
and I think Councilor Kuyak had some items, maybe we could identify that committee and whether that, we could put that in there or whether we need to do something more urgently.
Council Quick, what date works? Yeah.
The 12th is fine with me. I just think that if the later we get, in April, I might not be able to.
So we want to put in the 12th and then we have it. If we have to cancel, it's better to have it in and then cancel it, I think.
That's fine, but what committee meeting are we having?
Committee of
I'd
adjustment,
like to put that asset management.
So you want a classic management?
I got a few things I want to.
asset man.
Management too.
Okay.
What is yours?
Well, I think I brought forth I don't have a committee of adjustments, all I am. But I think I had emergency preparedness. I had something for waste management, maybe. I have questions for all.
Well, we could have an asset management and a waste management
Yeah,
on the same day as the committee of adjustment.
Absolutely.
And maybe, a lot of your other questions, we could stick it in under asset management or something.
And you know what, my past life, we didn't separate our committees. We had committee in a whole.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter what the issue was, we brought everything forward. The only challenge with that is you weren't able to share the committee chair role the same as you can when you've got specific committees to assign somebody to chair.
okay, everyone comfortable with this? Then you're putting that date in your calendar,
The 12th.
April 12th.
That's good.
9 o'clock here.
April 12th.
You gonna be back with us then, Sean?
Yes, I am going to be back.
Okay,
Mhm.
anything else on committee meeting dates? Okay, so here's my question. Should we be lucky enough to have a road superintendent? Do we have to have a special meeting to have?
No,
To hire the road
there's no
superintendent?
appointment requirement. We just have to, obviously, I'm not going to surprise council once the committee makes that decision. We will let council know, they'll be the first to know.
That would be good.
I would hope that if the mayor's been directed to sit there, that you'll know as quickly as I do when we make the decision.
Well,
But yeah, there's no appointment requirements under legislation for the public works superintendent.
I just want to go downtown and get a coffee and be told who's been hired.
Yeah, no, that's, we will, we'll definitely get the notice out to
I didn't
council,
know
and
what
shortly thereafter, we'll send out a public announcement. Under the hiring committee's signature.
I'm just going by the announcement for the new medical officer of health at the Ramsey County Health Unit. And it was like a big fanfare to get there. And then once it was done, that it took up most of the meeting of the Ramsey County Health Unit. That was the item, right? So just.
So certainly if council wants to have a special meeting to meet with the new road superintendent or otherwise, we can certainly arrange that.
No, I was just concerned that you need a resolution to appoint.
Yeah, no, there's no appointment resolution required. I have delegated authority for that hire. That said, once the job description is created, it's up to the hiring committee to do the hiring. The only appointment is the CAO and the chief building official who by legislation is required to be appointed.
Okay, are we prepared now to go to motions of council then? Okay, so under the motions of council, the first one is to accept the recommendation of the Recreation Committee. I need a mover and a seconder.
I'll move that one.
Moved by Councilor Florent, seconded by,
I'll second.
who seconded? Council Rodnick. Carla,
Yes, moved by Councillor Florent, seconded by Councillor Rodnick, that council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin accepts the recommendation of the Recreation Committee and approves the application received from Fiona Gerard to join the MNL Parks and Recreation Committee, subject to a favorable police record check.
Any discussion? Okay. Carla? Do you need to do a roll call on that?
Nope, just- All in favor?
All in favor? Okay, I'm having a senior's moment. Opposed, it's carried, thank you. Second motion is that the council accept the recommendation of the Recreation Committee. I'll have a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Kuyak, seconded by Councillor Rodnick. That Carolyn?
Moved by Councillor Kuyak, seconded by Councillor Rodnick, that council for the corporation of the Township of South Algonquin accepts the recommendation of the Recreation Committee and approves the applications received from Kelsey Fuller, Ken Reed, and Kensley Cannon to join the Whitney Recreation Committee, subject to a favorable police record check.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next motion, to accept the recommendation of the Recreation Committee to receive, Amanda White, Laura Sidock, and Joan Kuyak to join the Recreation Committee. Moved by Councillor Florence, second by Councillor Rodnick. Any discussion?
Yeah, I want to make a comment.
Okay,
I don't think it's unusual for councillors to be on the recreation committee, like an actual member of the recreation committee, but it certainly is unusual for our township. In the past, we haven't done that. The councillors,
Good thing or bad thing?
I think it probably will be a good thing. I can see problems arising down the road. When you're trying to push something and you may be in conflict, and wouldn't be able to vote on it yourself. Although there's recreation committee members aren't paid members, so I don't know if you certainly wouldn't have a pecuniary interest. It's just different. I don't know. I'm not going to offer an opinion whether it's good or bad.
We'll give it a try.
I think we felt that we had to be, just to help, right? And be
Yeah,
covered
okay.
and part of, so.
Well, in one respect, I sit on, I don't sit on the committee, but I'm at all the recreation committees in Madawaska. And sometimes I would like to be able to vote on the issues, and right now I don't,
right,
you know,
because you're
I'm
counting.
just an observer.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
kind of a mediator between the recreation committee and the council.
Mhm. Well, my understanding, and that may have changed, Brian, maybe you can add something to this, that, member of council, if they're appointed to that committee by council, which I did appoint committees, right, would be there, maybe with no vote, but are automatically on that committee, but maybe, Brian, can you provide
I
any
mean,
clarification?
all of these committees, they have different terms of reference. Ours, I don't think have any formal terms of reference. But most of them were their municipal recreation that's being done, that it's not a third party. In this case, some of our stuff is kind of arm's length and we're just kind of a conduit for it. But it's been my experience in most municipalities, we have appointed individuals sitting at that, helping make the decisions. And, you know, helping to ensure that that area of our municipality is getting the care of the municipal council that it deserves.
Yeah, well, Council Kuyak and Council Sidak, I think we're just trying to do the right thing and sit there and be an asset to these committees, so I just, if this does it, then let's do it, if it doesn't, then let's fix it, right?
If my memory serves me right, and I was on the first council, and you were the chair.
Yeah,
And
we
I think,
just-
I
we
think
just
the
sat there.
intention of the council was that those representatives are actually on the committee and would have a vote.
Yeah.
Somehow that's kind of fallen away
Yeah,
in practice.
well, maybe we need to look at terms of references, I don't know,
I think it's important. It's something that is on my radar that I haven't gotten to. I think I spoke to Councillor Kuyak already once about that. It's important for all of our committees that are doing work on behalf of the municipality to have a clear terms of reference.
Mhm.
That way, when they're coming back and saying, these are the deliverables that we're trying to deliver, they can say it's within the mandate that we've been authorized by council to undertake. And it just gives them a little better idea and more clear direction
Mhm.
as to what council expects of them and where does the rec committee cut off and council cut in? Right? As an example, this year, I believe the M&L group said they'd like to paint
Mhm.
M&L Hall. So they want to paint the entire building inside. Is that truly M&L Recreation's concern, or is that a municipal asset that the municipality should be considering? So there's the lines. Where are the lines? And I think that things like a terms of reference provide us with clear, distinct lines of who does what and when.
My suggestion would be that we vote on this and carry it, and then if something comes up that they are
Yeah.
not supposed to be on the committee, then we'll deal with it then.
Mhm.
Is that okay with council? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The next motion, I declare conflict.
Yes, I want to note that Councillor Thorne is declaring a conflict on this resolution. So it's been moved. I need a mover by Councillor Kwiat, seconded by Councillor Sidoff. I'll let you read it.
Moved by Councillor Kuyak, seconded by Councillor Sidock, that council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin approves the annual operating grant donation of $2,500 to the Flying Feathers Archery Club.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Oh, here's a biggie. I need a mover and a seconder to authorize the corporation of the township of Algonquin for the purchase of a new tandem. So I need a mover and seconder, and then I'll have Carla read it.
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Councillor Florent, second by Councillor Rodnick. Carla,
Moved by Councillor Florent, seconded by Councillor Rodnick, that council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin award the tender received from Winslow Jerome for the purchase of a new tandem axle plow truck in the amount of $334,512 plus HST.
any discussion?
I think we certainly have to get in the queue. You know, absolutely. If we do nothing, we'll never get a new truck.
No,
If something comes up, we can always discuss it and change it, but we have to get in the queue. So it'd make more money.
Okay. Thank you both.
Next resolution's tabled.
Pardon?
The next resolution.
We have to vote on this one.
You have to vote, okay.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. All in favor?
We need it.
Opposed? Oh, it's carried. Thank you, everyone. That's big decision.
Mhm.
That might change by 2025, right? That figure. We don't know yet.
We might have to order another one by then.
Yeah. The next resolution's been tabled. Okay, council remembers, we've tabled the next resolution. Okay. Now we're on to notices of motions, the bylaws. We can do this all at once, can we not?
No one has any notice of motions, I don't think.
Oh, sorry. Does anyone have any notice of motions? Seeing none, sorry, thank you.
And then I can do the first and second reading of all three bylaws, yes.
Okay, so I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Kwiat, seconded by
I'll do that.
Councillor Florent. Go ahead.
Moved by Councillor Kuyak, seconded by Councillor Florent, that bylaw 2023-740 deeming bylaw 2023-741 zoning bylaw amendment, bylaw 2023-742 confirm the proceedings of council be read a first time and deemed read a second time.
Do we need a recorded vote on this or no? Okay, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, the next resolution. Again, just to do the second reading of this bylaw.
The third reading.
Second and third reading, sorry. We did the first and second.
Correct.
Okay, I need a mover Counselor Sidak, seconder, Counselor Kuyak. Oh, sorry,
Sean.
did you have your hand up?
Yes, it is.
Sorry.
It's
Okay, I'll do you for the, how, can I do you for the next one? Okay. Okay, been moved and seconded. Carla?
Moved by Counselor Sidak, seconded by Counselor Kuyak, that bylaw 2023-740 deeming bylaw. Bylaw 2023-741 zoning bylaw amendment. Bylaw 2023-742 confirm the proceedings of bylaw. Sorry, confirm the proceedings of council. Open for discussion.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Be deemed read a third time and passed.
Oh, sorry. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next resolution is a resolution to move into a closed session. Moved by, I need a mover and a
I
seconder.
think you said Councillor Bijou.
Council Pijah, you moving this?
Sure.
Moved by Councilor Bijah, seconded by. Need a seconder, Councilor Florent.
Welcome back.
Moved by Counselor Pigeon, seconded by Counselor Florent, that council for the corporation of the Township of South Algonquin move into a closed session in accordance with Ontario Municipal Act, Part 6, Section 239, subsection 2. B, personal matters about identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employee. Personnel matters at 10:51 a.m.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Would you mind if we